Bob Burchett, our guest here on the Cougar Coaches Show, athletic director for Columbia College and head men's basketball coach of the number 20 Columbia College Cougars. Something I know that is floated around the rankings. You kind of bat it away to say, hey, let's count on the one number that really matters is the W's, and there's 20 in that W column right now, which is pretty solid with 4 to go here in the regular season for 2011 and 12.
It's nice, Cosmo. You know, there are certain hurdles, I think, in a college basketball season that coaches at least always kind of shoot for. First is guaranteeing a winning season, you know, and we passed that at the 16 mark, and that is an important mark. It means that you are successful in what you've been doing, and you will win more games than you lose. I think 20 is kind of a standard that most college programs look to, and we've been fortunate enough to hit that standard 20 out of 24 years, and really proud that this team has gotten to that level. And then, of course, the next step it comes to when you're talking about championship level and national rankings. We typically don't talk much about the national scene, but the national scene really is important right now, Cosmo, because in the NAIA, you have automatic bursts in the national play, and then you have at-large selections into national play, and typically those at-large selections come through the top 25. And so positioning yourself at this time of year is a pretty important thing.
The schedule, again, the final 4 home games, or final 4 games of the season with 3 of those at home. The next 2 coming up important in Harris-Stowe and Missouri Baptist sitting right there behind you guys in the standings as they sit right now. At 6-2, you guys are at 7-1. Talk through the preparation as you get ready for a couple back-to-back home games here this week for practice.
Well, a couple things. Typically, we like to get into a real pattern right now, Cosmo, and you know, I really think that teams and athletes like to be in a kind of a groove, and we try to get there, and that really goes to our practices as well. And we really kind of stick to a similar format, and then just change depending on who our opponents are and what we might see. The interesting thing is when you get into these multiple contests in conference play is teams do evolve and change. And we're busy doing a lot of film work, looking at teams over the last several games, following their stats, seeing who's playing well, and then seeing how they're rotating their players. And both teams that we're going to play this week have changed and evolved, and so we're going to have to prepare for that as well. It won't be the same team that we saw just a week or 2 ago. In fact, I was talking to Coach Dooley about it earlier today, and when you compress games like this, it seems like the Missouri Baptist game was, you know, months ago.
Exactly.
And now they're back up to us, and so we'll have to be prepared for a different look. And but again, I think that teams like at this time of year, practices are shorter. We're really into trying to stay in a groove and try to get into a rhythm. And I think when you get guys into a comfortable rhythm, then they have a tendency to do their best.
Something the other night at Southwell Complex that you were able to see on Mediacom Channel 22 and also honored on the website, the athletic director honor roll, and honoring all of the athletes, not just the basketball players, and you stretch from one end of the court to the other. Now next season, we're going to need to have 2 lines as you add the new athletes coming in, but that's got to be if you switch hats from the coaching side to the athletic director side, it's got to be a proud moment for you to watch all those athletes on the court.
It's a proud moment, both as athletic director and the basketball coach for the men, Cosmo. Number one, the percentages here have been strong for years. I think they were particularly strong this year. Over 65, 66% of our student athletes achieved a 3.0 or higher in the first term, and that's outstanding. On the men's side, we had 11 out of 13 of our guys in that grouping, and so you're looking at a guy who's very happy in both sides of his work. We really feel like Columbia College attracts very, very success-oriented students, and it's nice to know that you can be smart, that you can do the right things academically, and win games, and that the two can be tied. And I think that night demonstrates that to our fans, and Yeah, you are right. I was very, very excited about the number of students that were out on that court.
And as you mentioned the word recruiting earlier, and we'll talk more about it with Coach Sean Dooley in just a minute, but that's obviously something as you go into a home and talk to mom and dad and talk about how, hey, look, your son or daughter is going to be able to come here. They're going to be able to excel in the classroom and also on the field or on the court.
Well, I think the buzzword in college athletics for years has been student athlete.
Right.
And everybody uses the term student athlete. Well, all we can have to do is show a picture of that number of our students that are achieving at that level. You don't even have to use the buzzword. It is that, you know, it is right out there in front of you that our students are very serious about their education, and you can do both. You can be serious about education and be serious about the sport that you love. More
on the Cougars, ColumbiaCougars.com, and you can see that photo I was talking about, and they take up pretty much the entire center court. We'll come back, talk with one of Bob's assistants and former players, and maybe a little gossip about that later too. Sean Dooley will be our guest next on the Cougar Coaches Show on Mediacom Channel 22.